It is officially over. Zeb Wells' awful, awful run on Amazing Spider-Man came to an end. I did a review for the comic. Terrible. Unavailable, it's terrible. Ended as badly as it began, it's terrible. But the question has to be asked, and I think it is worth asking. People are asking it, so I'm going to cover it. Is this the worst Spider-Man run of all times? Is it? And I'm going to go over 7 things about Zeb Wells' Amazing Spider-Man run that may very well cement it as being the absolute worst Spider-Man comic of all time. And then I will let you know at the end whether I think it actually is the worst or, if it's somewhere up there. So let's dive into it now so we go through this as quickly as possible. The first one on the list is, what did Peter do? That was how this whole thing began. There was this big mystery of what did Peter do? What happened? You understand me? You had everybody angry at Peter. You had Aunt May who basically was angry and hated Peter. That sort of stuff never happens, but she was doing it. You had Mary Jane basically telling Peter to never contact her again. She was nothing to do with him. The Fantastic Four were mad at him. You had Captain America mad at him. You had Spider-Man barely knowing what to do with his life. All these things. There was a big mystery. And it drew people in because they were like, okay, what did Peter do? What happened? What is this horrible thing that happened with Peter? What did he do? Because you got this scene of him literally sitting in this crater, his mask and stuff all ripped on. You're wondering, what in God's name did Peter really kill people? Is that what happened? Is something happened here? You wanted to know. And then Zeb Wells just basically did nothing with it for a year. I mean, you could drop little clues here and there, little stuff to get people interested. That's what you do. You get people interested in something and they're like, okay, all right, I want to see what's going on here. Let me know what's it. You drop a little hint here and there. I want to see what's going on. Okay, let me get it. No, there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing for like a year. It just dragged on. You had this thing with Tombstone, and people started saying, yeah, this thing with Tombstone is going pretty good. And I was like, yeah, this crap ain't gonna last. And of course, it didn't, but nothing happened for a year. And then when you did finally find out exactly what did Peter do, it turns out he didn't do anything. Mary Jane was trapped in this other dimension. Peter got back. The other dimension, time was moving faster than it moved here. So he needed to get her out of there before she died of old age or something. So he went to the Fantastic Four, borrowed some of their equipment to go and get Mary Jane back. That was it. That's a perfectly logical thing to do. The man was on a time crunch. Lives were on the line. He needed to get Mary Jane back. So that's what he did. Nothing about it was anything with it. The big crater he was in was just what happened when he got back from the dimension. Nobody died. Nothing happened. When they put this out, they're like, what did Peter do? And it turned out to be absolutely nothing. Nothing. The man didn't do anything. He didn't cause any calamity. He just did what he could have done, and that was it. But this is the nonsense that they tried to play that out. So you wasted a year of everybody's lives basically doing absolutely nothing for a payoff that showed that Peter didn't do anything, and you're all just a bunch of morons. That was it. Then we get to number 2, Paul, because everybody hates Paul. I have never seen a more inconsistent character in Paul. Honestly, the fact of the matter is, like, Paul exists for the sole reason just for Mary Jane to be with him so Peter doesn't have her. That's it. He offers nothing else to anything because, as I mentioned, inconsistency. The way that they draw Paul constantly changes. Like, constantly changes. One minute he's buff, the next minute he's skinny and nerdy, the next minute he's this, the next minute that. One minute he looks like he's black, and next minute he looks like he's mixed, and next minute he looks like he's white. It's just constantly changing, and you're just left to wonder what in God's name is going on. Then when you got to find out about Paul's backstory, because the whole dimension that it was in this rabbin thing with the hieroglyphics, all that kind of stuff. First you first you heard that Paul was the person who destroyed the entire universe, was his assistant. Then you're gonna find out that Paul is the guy's son, and Paul is the one who destroyed everything. And then Peter's just like, yeah, you know what? No problem, dude. You keep banging Mary J. That's perfectly fine. I mean, like, nothing happened with Paul. They literally did nothing with Paul other than he just exists to be with Mary J. For that's it. Everybody dislikes Paul. People keep saying it. He might exist for no other purpose other than to just be a pain in people's ass. That's it. That is it. And it done nothing with the character. By now, Paul should have been revealed to be evil, because I still completely believe that he is evil. You understand? But nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. Paul is just there to exist so that Mary Jane could be with him, so that Peter can't be with Mary Jane. Nobody likes this character. I mean, there have been characters that people just, didn't take to look at it, but Paul has become so universally hated just for existing. And that's the reason why they put him there, just to do this. He offers absolutely nothing to the story, absolutely nothing to anything in Spider-Man, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Paul is just to piss people off, and they're perfectly happy with that. That's it. Perfectly, perfectly happy with it. Which actually takes me in to number 3. Refusal to course correct. You have Zeb Wells and Nick Lowe. Zeb Wells is the writer, Nick Lowe is the group editor for Amazing Spider-Man. And every week, every month, fans were just bombarding with how much they did not like the direction that Spider-Man is going in. They don't like Paul. They don't like what's happening to Peter. They don't like what's happening to Mary Jane. And they just flat out refused to course correct. There was absolutely no interest from them whatsoever to stop and say, listen, we made a mistake, let's listen to the facts. No. You literally had Nick Lowe basically lambasting a fan online for daring to come out and say that, this entire is just total garbage. These people just absolutely showed how much they just didn't care. Seriously, they just did not care one way or another. They were like, you know what? Screw all you. That's it. We just go in and write whatever crap we want. It kept getting worse. Fans were literally walking away. Fans telling them they're sick and tired of it. Fans were literally saying, we hate Paul. Get rid of Paul. And they refused to do it. They keep doubling down on him over and over again. Like I said, I don't even know what Paul's purpose is. I mean, like, he's supposed to be this super genius, this stay at home, this and this super. You don't even know. Because there's no reason for him to exist other than to just be with Mary Jane so Peter can't have her, and that's it. Fans were literally pissed, telling them, this is not what we want. We do not like this. We're sick and tired of it. They were leaving, they were using their wallets to say, we're not going to buy this. And they were just over there, squatting in a corner, flipping people off and like, screw all, they will keep doing whatever the hell we want. That was it. They refused to course correct no matter how bad this was going. They were literally running into the rocks continuously, and they just kept going. They just kept going. Let's to number 4 now. Events that mean nothing. During Zeb Wells' run with Spider-Man, we got some events that just seemed to tie into absolutely nothing. We got Gang War, where Spider-Man literally did nothing. You had Dark Web, which was some crossover with X-Men, when X-Men was as cold could be. X-Men was literally frigid. Nobody cared about that book. Nobody was reading it. Nothing. But X-Men, you had some crossover with Spider-Man, and it once again, absolute waste of time. You understand me? You even have Blood Hunt happen. Did anybody actually read that? I sure as hell didn't. Then again, I didn't read Gang War or more Dark Web either. You understand? Because I just don't care anymore. You understand me? You even have Venom War. And you know what happened in Venom War? The first thing that happened in Venom War is that Peter Parker, Spider-Man, actually got back together with the symbiote. He actually got back his symbiote and nobody was talking about it. That is how cold Spider-Man has become. Nobody was talking about how Spider-Man got his Venom suit back. Literally got back this symbiote, which was one of the major things that happened, but nothing, because people have just gotten to a point now where they just expect Spider-Man to be uninteresting. They throw out these events, we'll see about 10 of them in a year, and people are just literally probably like, you know what, Spider-Man, this is going to be a passenger in this. I don't care to read it. That is it. I just don't care to read it. Because these events do absolutely nothing for anything. But when you actually get Spider-Man in it, fans are just like, you know what, this is not going to make any kind of sense, so I'm just done. The only people who are really reading these things are just YouTubers who are doing doing these reviews. Other than that, nothing. You're trying to tell me for Venom War, Spider-Man actually got back together with the symbiote and nobody was talking about it? That's how cold Spider-Man has become. All these big events do absolutely nothing. Nothing whatsoever to bolster Spider-Man. It just continues to show how much people just don't care about any of this. Number 5. And this one is something people talk about a lot, but I think it's time that we actually address the situation. They are intentionally sabotaging Spider-Man. I seriously believe that, because what they want is to sabotage Spider-Man, Peter Parker's life so badly to build up the other knockoff versions. Like Miles Morales. And I said this before, I said that again, Miles Morales is not Spider-Man. He will never be Spider-Man. And Miles Morales will never be Spider-Man for one main reason. And that reason is the reason he was created in the first place. Miles Morales was created because why? They wanted a black mixed race Spider-Man, that's it. That is the only reason that Miles Morales exists. They did him in his own ultimate universe over there, fine. They did that over there. Understand me? It started off, people were interested, but when people got to realize, you know, listen, this is just Peter Darker. Because all his enemies are Spider-Man enemies. All it is happening is just Spider-Man. Because I mean, his entire everything is just basically a knockoff of Spider-Man. His powers are, you know, the Venom blast thing, something that Spider-Woman had, all of that. If Miles Morales was his own hero who wasn't Spider-Man and they built him up, it could have worked, but it's not that. It's not that. They literally trying to sabotage Peter Parker's life to build up Miles Morales and others, and it doesn't work. I mean, you even have Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider. You know how Spider-Gwen came about? Literally from a variant cover. It literally had a variant cover of Gwen Stacy as Spider-Gwen, and then people wanted it, and they made it, and never been popular. Never been popular. But they figure if they could sabotage Spider-Man, they could somehow raise these characters up. I don't know who tell her that it's not working. It's not working at all. You literally also have like Spider-Boy and Spider-Girl. Every Spider-Person. I mean, like, who is reading this crap? You're giving Dan Slott work to do Spider-Boy and Spider-Girl that nobody cares about. You're sabotaging Spider-Man's life in an attempt to make these knockoff characters relevant, and it never will happen. Miles Morales will never be Spider-Man. Once you have to put a person's name before their superhero title, it doesn't work. Miles Morales Spider-Man is not Spider-Man. Laura Kinney Wolverine is not Wolverine. John Kent is Superman is not Superman. These are facts. If you have these characters be their own people, you wouldn't have this problem. But you're going out there to sabotage Spider-Man to give what? Miles Morales 2 extra minutes to do what? What are they even doing with Miles Morales? He's a vampire or some nonsense like that. They give him yet another suit, because they're literally giving Miles Morales the Captain Marvel treatment, just giving him new powers every week. And it goes nowhere. That's it, you're sabotaging. I tell you, they are intentionally sabotaging Peter Parker's life to do this nonsense. And I'm convinced of that. We get to number 6, Jack jackpot, one of the worst things they did, apart from Paul, because Paul, everybody hates Paul. And let's say, turning Mary Jane into jackpot. Mary Jane as jackpot isn't even stupid, it's just ridiculous. Her outfit looks stupid. Her powers are ridiculous. The fact that she's somehow suddenly this great superhero is crap. You understand? The whole thing makes absolutely no sense. When they first started off with Jackpot, she would randomly get powers. Kind of like how, Ben 10 would look to dial in this alien, and then he get a different alien, and he'd have to use his whole ingenuity to use this new alien's powers to battle the trouble or threat that he's having. No, you won't get in with this. It started off saying that was going to be, all of a sudden she could literally dial in any powers that she wanted. She could literally do everything and anything. They even put out that she could suddenly fight and hold her own against Spider-Man. I think, how was that making any sense? Mary Jane as a character was fantastic because she's Mary Jane. That's it. She doesn't need powers. Being Mary Jane is what is her own superpower. It's the same thing like Lois Lane. Lois Lane as Lois Lane is her superpower. That's what she is. Being Lois Lane is all the power she will ever need. But no. Because now they've literally given her superpowers, so she's Superwoman or some shit like that again. But this is what I'm saying. They ruin these characters when they don't understand. You really know everybody needs to be a hero. You can't run around woman power and keep ruining the women. Jackpot is a horrible character. It's a horrible set of powers, a ridiculous outfit, and she doesn't act like Mary Jane at all. Literally at all. She and Paul had some imaginary children. They lost the children. She goes out day drinking and cracking jokes. What kind of madness is that? What kind of madness is that? Well, this is what they were doing. And somehow Spider-Man was perfectly fine with this. Yeah, because why not? He's the biggest cock around. And finally, number 7. There are no high points in Zeb Wells' run. Normally in a comic, the comic might be bad, but there may be 1 or 2 little high points that you could say, okay, this is interesting, I like this, it's going somewhere, but then no, there's none. There's none. Peter Parker literally loses at everything. Not once in this entire run has he won anything. The whole Tombstone thing, waste of time, because in the end he lost. He doesn't get Mary Jane. She literally cuckold him and say, listen, I'm going to bang Paul every night because I want to, and you can't say anything about it. They gave him this new love interest, Shay, that is never going to work out. We all know that. You understand? We all know that. His life is an absolute mess. Even the art looks terrible. Literally terrible. The art really looks terrible. I don't know what John Romita Jr. is doing, because, his art used to be good, but I think he's reached past his prime and all that. It doesn't look good. There's no consistency with any art anymore. And it's not just Spider-Man, like all of Marvel and DC, the art is terrible. Go and find a good artist for them one book and stick with what works. No. There is literally nothing, no high points in this. He keeps losing everything. He hasn't accomplished anything. His life is a mess. Everything is piss poor. That's it. That's all you're getting out of this Zeb Wells run. So yeah, those are the 7 things that I mean, there are more, because if I have to talk about everything that's wrong with Zeb Wells run, this will take hours. But I'm just saying the 7 main things, in my opinion. If you have others you want to put in, feel free to do so in the comments. But I think that's the main 7 for me right there. Now, to answer the big question, is this the worst Spider-Man run of all time? There are others that will compete for the top. Some of what Dan Slott did wasn't good. One More Day is terrible. There are others. Forgive me, I do not remember everybody's name, so I can't remember all the writers and who did it. But there are others that are really terrible. I mean, there's the one where Spider-Man gave Mary Jane. Remember, Mary Jane died from Spider-Man's radioactive sperm and all kind of madness. All of these things. But I would have to say that Zeb Wells' run on Spider-Man, I would have to say it is probably the second or third worst Spider-Man run of all time. If you put one more day, there would be above that. And there's one other, I can't remember the name of the run, but I remember it was terrible. But yeah, I would definitely say Zeb Wells' Spider-Man run is in the top 3. I think that's how bad it really is. It shows a terrible take on everything. They have ruined Spider-Man, Peter Parker's life. They continue to do so. And unless there's a major course where it's not going to change, next upcoming event is the 8 deaths as Spider-Man, because everybody wants to see Spider-Man die 8 times. Yeah, we all lining up for that for some reason. But I think I would have to say it is in the top 3. If not third, second, but is in the top 3 of the worst Spider-Man runs of all time. Let me know in the comments if you agree or not, but I would say it is up there. I think that this run ending, a lot of people are happy about it, but I don't see things getting better on the horizon. But for this, yeah, really downright terrible. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like it, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.